Everybody, it's that time of year again. Every 2 years, James Schleicher gets stressed out because he doesn't want to talk about politics, doesn't want to address politics, but it is very important that we are understanding what's out there, what we're voting for. And I hope you enjoy this interview with my friend George Phillips. And you can go back through our videos in our community playlist, and we interview all different types of people in different positions, and hopefully you can draw out the right thing for you to help you make the best educated decision. And as always, have a wonderful day. Stay burn proof. Everybody, we're back. I'm here with my friend George Phillips. For those of you who know me, know that I can't stand politics. I hate everything about it. I don't know how you do it, but thank you for, we need good people. I've known you a long time, and I trust you very much. So selfishly, I'm going to talk about some topics that are super important to me and my family, and I hope that it helps all of you make an educated decision come election time. And so first thing I want to start with, I'm very far removed from school. It's been a while, but education is the most important thing to me, and whether that is for my kids, for my team and myself at work, I've been very obsessed with getting more knowledge and more expertise, and I feel that it's a super important thing that if people can find the right thing that they're interested in and take it, it's like if you can become the expert at something, or you can be smart. It's not so much being smart, but if you can be one of the best at something, who cares what it is, it's going to change your life. It's going to give you focus. It's going to give you purpose. It's going to give you passion. So I'm going on a rant right now, but walk me through your vision of the action you would take in education, just education as you see it. What are we not understanding that we should be? What questions are we not asking educators and people like yourself that we should be?
So education is the reason I'm running for office.
Okay. Off to a good start. I like you so far. See how this goes.
My top priority, because it's our responsibility as parents to leave our area, our community, our state better than we found it. Okay. The only way to do that is with an educated workforce. To keep jobs in Ohio, to keep our workers in Ohio, and to also encourage companies and workers to come to Ohio. There's a plethora of ways of doing that.
Plethora. Like that. That's a good word. That's a good education word.
Thank you.
Yes. You sound very distinguished.
First of all, you've spent a lot of time in my classes.
Yes.
And I've taught and continue to teach at various institutions in the area. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I've found in close to a decade of teaching at the college level is our children, our young adults, our adults, not only need textbook education, but they need real-world application.
Tell me more about that.
Because...
And I'm sorry to jump in here, but for me, textbook's important, but it means absolutely nothing until you can go out and take action. I'd rather have, I guess that's where I'm kind of conflicted, is here I am in one side of my mouth, I'm saying, you gotta be the expert, you gotta have knowledge, you gotta read the textbook, you gotta read books, do all that fun stuff. But there's just so many people out there that have the knowledge, and I don't know if it's maybe they don't have the opportunity to take action, or they don't have the right leadership to take action, or they're just too, I know for me, there's a lot of times where I haven't taken action on the knowledge I have because I'm afraid, or I don't see the opportunity. So I guess when you're talking about real world application, what opportunities do you see, or what barriers do you see that most people have?
You need both. You need textbook education and you need real world education. You put that together and you actually get a education.
Touché. All right.
You teach a class and you want to be able to take that content that's in a textbook, whether it's at the elementary school level, the high school level, or the collegiate level, and be able to take that information and put it into the real world. And that's why, for example, when I teach a class, I usually do 1 day of textbook learning and 1 day of real world application. When you've come into my classes, I bring you in during certain times for a reason, because we're talking about a certain topic that applies to you. When I bring in other speakers, I bring them in for a reason, because we're talking about a topic that applies to them, so that they can see, okay, we saw this in the textbook, on the PowerPoint, in the lecture, but now we see how it's applied. On top of which, the Senate and the House passed Senate Bill 1 recently, which is now encouraging schools to have financial literacy in the classroom, K through 12.
Okay.
So now our youth in Ohio will learn financial literacy throughout their academic careers, so that whenever their formal education stops, they're ready for the real world, not just in skill development, but how to handle their money, how to invest, how to purchase a home, how to do things like that.
How to do adulting, so to speak.
Exactly, how to do adulting. Because formal education may cease, but education never stops. You're always learning every day. And I've already requested that when I win, that I get put on as many education type committees as possible, because I want to make sure that our children, JJ, Julia, are ready for life after their formal education is done, but also while they're in school, to make sure they're getting the proper education. They're learning the proper skills. They're learning the proper ways to do things. And also, I want to make sure I meet with educators, because they're the ones giving up their gift of time to educate our youth. And so I want to make sure I fully understand what their needs are, what their concerns are, what they like, what they don't like. Because
and two, they're the ones that know the reality. They're
in the classroom.
They know what's actually going on.
Correct.
They're in the trenches, and that's and I think I may have shared this before, and I know talked to you about it and talked about it in the classes. Like, I was going to Notre Dame to be a teacher because I wanted to coach track. I just want to keep track and cross country in my life. But it's like every education class I took, I started to realize more and more and more, I'm not just showing up to be a teacher. It's like I'm showing up and I got to be a mom. I got to be a dad. I got to be a grandma. I got to be a grandpa. I got to be, I got to be the inspiration. I have to be the one that is the only person that makes them feel like they're being heard. It's like there's so much. What I ultimately realized, I didn't have the guts to be a teacher. And I like to. I mean, right now, I know that the teachers I talk to, it's very intense. It's very stressful, and not that it wasn't intense and stressful before, but now it's like it seems like there is a lot going on where teachers are leaving. And there's a big opportunity and a need in education to connect with what's really happening in the trenches. So.
Absolutely. And our teachers should be commended, because they went through something in the past 2 years that no one expected. That adjustment from going to the classroom every day, having your lesson plan, having your room, to on the computer, that takes a lot. And our educators across the state did a great job by doing that. And I want to bridge that gap between elementary school, high school, college, real world. Plus, we got to put an emphasis on vocational education. There are so many jobs out there that will allow someone to make a fair wage, raise a family, take a vacation, retire, and they're not being filled. I mean, there are so many opportunities for vocational education, for the trades, the unions, various different skills that we need to have.
But I think that's a true thing, is skills. You have actual skills.
Correct.
You have a craft. You have something, to my comment, you're the expert of something. And, even for me, I like to think I'm one of the experts in my field, but you can find a James Schleicher expert on any street corner. When it comes to the trades, when it comes to all my friends that are in those fields, that's what it's like. All you need to do is
show up.
Maybe not the right thing to say, but you don't even necessarily have to be good, but you will be handsomely rewarded because there is not, the competition isn't there. There's not a lot of people to compete with you. So do not be mediocre. Please work hard. Please treat people right. Please be the best at what you do. Sorry. But you know what I mean? Like,
But you're right. We need people in the trades.
and I know when I was coaching, it was difficult. And again, I tried to like stay in my lane, but it was very difficult to, kind of see some of the. Again, it's just more that the families weren't really aware of all the other opportunities aside from, hey, you just got to go to college. Why? Well, because you need a college degree. Why? Because that was me. I just no one really told me to go to college. It was just more of like assumed like, well, I guess that's what you do if you're going to be successful in life. And
the biggest thing for me is a wise man once told me, take money off the table. Money's not an object, but you have to work for the next 30 years. What do you do? And when you start thinking that way, you find your passion. That's all I would ask. It's just find your passion. Whether that's in the trades, whether that's in education, whether that's in financial services, whether that's in coaching, entrepreneurship, just find your passion. Find your passion, work hard, be good at it, and inspire others. I would not be sitting here with you if it wasn't for people like you. When you come into my classrooms, I take notes. I've heard your speech 30 times. I can repeat it in my head. But yet, I learn something every day. When I listen to others, I learn something every day. So I feel it's my responsibility as a member of the legislature in January, should the voters choose me to represent them, to make education top priority for our children, because the next generation's coming. And we need to make sure they're ready for the workforce. We need to make sure they're ready to be responsible citizens. And it's not rocket science. Just work together.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right.
Make JJ and Julia say that every 5 seconds.
That's right.
At home,
Every day for JJ.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so last thing on the education piece.
Okay.
Because you said something that made me spike my interest, so to speak. But you're talking about like take money off the table. What's your passion? What should you do? Mm-hmm. For you, where did this passion come from for this?
Family of public service. My father was a highway patrol officer for 20 years. He then taught cadets to be officers for another 20, and he was a police chief prior to his passing. So he was always serving others. My mother is a librarian at an elementary school all throughout my academic career. It wasn't fun when I got in trouble and had to cut through the library to go to the principal's office, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Get like a fake mustache or something, like to try to.
Exactly,
It's
but
not Mom's not me.
My mom taught me a love of history, a love of political science, a love of reading, a love of understanding your past, so that you can create the present and then create the future.
Yeah.
My father taught me serve others at all times. So it just was embedded in me from a very, very young age to find something that you're passionate about that also allows you to give back to others. Another wise man told me one time our youth make up maybe 25 to 30% of our population, but they also make up 100% of the future.
Say that again. That was good.
Our youth make up 20 to 30% of our population and 100% of our future.
No pressure.
I can't take credit for that line, but it's true. But to me, that's my responsibility, is to create an environment in this state so that people want to stay in Ohio to work. Yep. Companies want to stay in Ohio to conduct business. Companies want to come to Ohio because they see how good it is. And the workforce thrives in Ohio. Mm-hmm. It's not hard.
I like it. Very good. So, education makes sense to me.
Yes.
Got it. And if you have further questions for George, please reach out when it comes to education.
Reach out with any question you have, any comment you have, any concern you have, but more importantly, any idea that you have. Because we live in a representative republic and it fails without participation. So please email me anything you want. I will meet with you, talk to you. That's what we do. Work together.
The best idea might just be on the other side of that camera. That's cool. Yeah. Send your ideas because that.
Please.
Yeah. If you're anything like me, there's got to be a good idea in there somewhere. So there's got to get them out. So cool. Well, thank you for the education chat.
Yes.
And then what we'll do is we will have another video to go on to my next surprise point that I want to talk about because I'm selfish. I want to talk about it.
Let's go.
So let's roll. So we'll see you next time.
Thank
See you in
you.
a little bit.